In this episode of Gene and Renee Travel Adventures, we are in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Thank you to Natalie Webb and Joe Wilby for sponsoring this episode. This is kind of an architectural episode. We're going to be looking at some beautiful homes. We're going to also be taking a tour of the home that we stayed in, which is a Second Empire style dwelling there in Fredericton. It is a gorgeous home. You have to see it. Thanks for joining us on the journey. This is the Smith House, first occupied in 1787. Natalie and Joe Webb of Fredericton sponsored this episode of Gene and Renee Travel Adventures. Their home is a 2.5-story Second Empire style dwelling completed by the late 1870s for Captain Samuel Whittier. It's a wood frame structure situated on the northwest corner of Church and George Streets in Fredericton. Coming upon the back of this finely situated corner house, you'll notice it shares a very engaging intersection with 4 large and unique houses facing each other among the trees. From the side yard, you can observe that there are 2 distinct parts of the house, with the rear portion originally functioning as the servants' quarters. The interior displays high ceilings, beautiful paneled woodwork, banisters, a sweeping stairway, and a fine built-in linen closet within the hall. This building is not only associated with its expression of Second Empire architecture, but also with the prominence of its former owners. Captain Samuel Hall Locke Whittier from Dover, New Hampshire, moved to Fredericton during the late 1860s. A steamboat captain, Whittier was at the helm of the People's Line, established in 1872. This steamboat line served the upper St. John River, extending as far as Andover. The steamboats associated with the People's Line were Andover, City of Fredericton, and Ida Whittier, the latter having been named after Captain Whittier's only daughter. The People's Line sold their steamers in the late 1870s with the advent of the passenger line of the New Brunswick Railway. Captain Whittier established a successful grocery business in Fredericton before becoming the American consul. Wesley Van Wart purchased this house from Captain Whittier in 1895, the same year he was elected mayor of Fredericton. Van Wart, who had conducted a law practice with his brother for nearly 2 decades, also became Queen's Counsel in 1895. Shortly after his third term as mayor ended, Wesley Van Wart died. His widow, Annie Van Wart, rented the house for a number of years. This substantial dwelling was converted during the 1940s to contain 3 apartments. The history of this elegant home between the 1940s to the 1980s is relatively unknown. In 1985, it was purchased by a local woman who originally lived in it, then converted it into a rooming house, offering room rentals to students and professionals. The current owners, Natalie Webb and Joe Wilby, purchased the home in 2016 and embarked on a plan to completely renovate it and restore it to its former glory. Partition walls and hallways were removed to reinstate what they believed would have been the original layout. Electrical, plumbing, insulation, drywall, and mechanicals have all been brought up to modern standards with an incredible effort to restore and maintain the original features such as plaster molding, ceiling medallions, original doors, floors, and hardware where possible. The renovation is ongoing. Thank you so much, Natalie and Joe, for sponsoring this episode of Jeannie Renee Travel Adventures. Hey, now let's go back into Fredericton and look around some more. Just a few prices that we noticed. We went into a Costco while there in Fredericton. A hot dog and a drink with refills is $1.50, just like in the United States. Now, the difference is that the Canadian dollar evidently sucks more than the US dollar does right now, so that translates to $1.09 US money. Hey, great bargain if you're an American up in Canada buying a hot dog and a Coke. The membership is the same as in the United States, which is $60. Now, you will remember that in Mexico, we got our membership for about $23 US. Here, with the exchange rate, you're getting the membership for about $44.
You drive. Do you know I'm looking? but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake.
Thank you so much, Natalie and Joe, for sponsoring this episode of Jeannie Renee Travel Adventures.